From electrical engineering to real estate, stick with us to hear the story of Kyle Russell. Kyle came into real estate without a sales background and was on fire with 16 transactions and almost $4 million in sales volume in his first year. Hear how he launched his career while he was building a family, buying his first home, and learn about his personal and fun approach to building his real estate business.
Welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission, where we dive into real stories, big wins, and early lessons learned from highly successful rookie real estate agents and brokers. This is the podcast where we explore how real estate transforms lives, one home at a time, by sitting down each week with a new agent or broker who has found incredible success in their first year. Your hosts are instructors and leaders at Colibri Real Estate School, one of the largest real estate educators in the nation, where we focus on helping people like you get started or find continued success in their careers.
Hello, and welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission. I'm your host, Tina Lapp. I've been in real estate education for over 30 years, helping individuals enter and thrive in their real estate careers. We are here today with Kyle Russell. Kyle, will you take a moment to introduce yourself, where you live, and what company you're with?
Yeah, so my name's Kyle, like she was just saying. I am licensed in Ohio and Michigan. I'm with RE/MAX Preferred Associates. We typically kind of specialize in Northwest Ohio, Southeast Michigan. But as some of you may know, you can go as far north or far south or east or west, wherever kind of business takes you. So the furthest north I've done is 6 hours away. The furthest south that I've done is 2.5 hours away. So we kind of sprawl out.
That's great. I love that. And I'm sure people always have questions about working in multiple states. So we'll dive into that in a little bit. So you're obviously currently in real estate. What were you doing before you became a real estate agent?
Literally nothing sales related. So this is the longest I've ever had a job. So it's kind of cool to me. So yeah, it might be my niche kind of, but I mean, I've tried a lot of different things. I've tried, I went to school for electrical engineering. I was an electrical apprentice. So I roughed in houses here and there. Immediately before I was working at, here in Toledo, we have a pretty big Jeep plant, like the Jeep Wrangler plant. So I have family and friends that work in there. I was working in there for a spell. You would be surprised what kind of skills you get working in a factory, because you're kind of with the same people for 10 hours a day and they're all different walks of life. Mm-hmm. And nobody wants to be bored. So you learn how to carry on conversations with a lot of different kinds of folks. And I think that skill has certainly helped me in this business. I would say that.
Yeah. People skills in real estate have got to be an advantage. So you're doing all these different things. You're working there. What inspired you to pursue a career in real estate, especially not having any sales background?
I would say, so it's kind of a long story.
Let's do it.
Okay. So I was working in the factory, and I know a lot of people that have made awesome careers out of it. They've provided for their families, sent them through college and paid for all of it. Their kids, they go on cool trips. They have nice toys. They do all the stuff. I got rolled over to second shift. So that was 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. ish when I would leave and get home. And it was just a lot. And at the time, I had just gotten married. She was super supportive of everything, because at that time, like I said, this is the longest I've had a job now. So we were kind of just jumping around trying to find ourselves in our early, mid, and into our late 20s. And the factory kind of just made sense, trying to find a career. When you don't see the sun, believe it or not, you get kind of depressed. I was just so just bleh, all the time. Started seeing a therapist. We started going through things. My wife got pregnant. And I was just thinking to myself, what kind of parent I wanted to be. Now, again, not to throw stones at any factory workers, but it just wasn't the lifestyle that I wanted. I wanted to be more hands-on. I wanted to be able to, take my kid out of school early if I wanted, and we go to the movies or whatever we could do. And I wanted to be more than just a paycheck dad. And at the time, we were actually going through the process of purchasing our first home. And not that my agent was bad, but I was kind of looking across the table at her man, I feel like I could do this. So I told her while we were shopping that I was curious about it. I started taking my classes and whatnot, and I was very open with her about it. And she was super awesome. She kind of just held my hand and told me like what she looks at when she's going through houses and things like that. At the time I know some people might get scared when they hear this, but I was an FHA-er, 6% concessions. We needed the works. And it was just really cool to kind of get the hands-on experience. And again, not like she did anything bad, but I just felt like there was more of a personal touch that I could bring to the table when I first got licensed. And I think that kind of has really helped me move my career in the direction that it's gone.
Yeah. So here you are, you're married, you're having a baby, you're switching careers, you've got a lot, you've got an awful lot going on.
Yeah.
And so you're buying your first home, and would you say that was kind of the inspiration? Like, hey, I could do this. This is something I'm going to try.
So for me, just being a little bit transparent, what happened was we were actually in a position where we were getting kicked out of our place that we were renting. And it was a coworker that we were renting from of my wife's. And I don't know what happened. He just decided he wanted to sell the property. I'm sure some people can relate to some of that stuff when it's just like, surprise, landlord wants to get rid of the property. And I don't mind being the dumbest person in the room, but I don't like when people talk to me like I'm stupid. You know what I mean? Like, I love to learn. I like it so much. So during that whole situation, what kind of spurred it was like, I don't want this to ever happen again. So I kind of went down the real estate rabbit hole, and that's kind of what spurred it, honestly. So I started learning a lot about the industry, just, like YouTube videos, Google, things like that, learning what I could here and there. I hadn't reached out to any local professionals or anything like that. But yeah, that, and then like some of the support from like my wife and my therapist, kind of talking to her about some of the things, it was really good. And it was kind of scary too, though, because not a lot of folks work in sales. Most folks, especially like the generation ahead of me, they're all very 9 to 5,
Yeah.
So I got a lot of pushback when I was considering making the jump from my grandparents, my parents, just because they didn't know. There wasn't a promise of anything at the end of it. But yeah, with the little bit of education that I did get, with and then a leap of faith, we'll say, it's kind of worked out, I think.
Yeah, it sure sounds like it. So tell us about the experience going through classes. So you decide, I'm going to take a leap of faith. I'm going to try this thing. I'm going to go get my real estate license. How'd you do it? You decided to enroll in school. How'd you take your classes?
Yeah, so I did most of them online. At the time, it was still kind of COVID-ish, Okay. So in-person classes weren't really a thing at the time. Had it been in person, I probably would have done that.
Yeah.
Most of the CE that I do now is all in person. I think I just get a little bit more out of it that way. I can ask questions, and it's not like just a help bot. I would say that I started taking the classes in October of 2020. And then it was a slow moving process because I really took my time through it. I really thought like, man, I really need to like absorb all of this. I don't want to fail. I don't want to be the guy that fails, So yeah, I started taking them in October, and then I didn't have my license until March.
Okay.
So
that's less than 6 months. Yeah.
But also on top of that, like we were just talking about all of the things I have going on. I started taking class in October. We closed on our house Christmas Eve of 2020. My son was born January 7th of 21. So then once that happened, then I kind of went into real estate, like full gear. I knew he was healthy, she was healthy, and now I could kind of focus on me.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot getting through classes. I think about 5 months or so. Not bad, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So were you working during that time too?
Yeah. So I was still working at the factory. And I was probably putting in close to, I dialed it back a little bit. That summer I was doing about 60 to 70 hours a week, and I cut it back. I didn't want like any overtime, and that's like a lot of money when you're in there. But I cut it back to about like 40 to 30 hours, just depending on the week. And I was just kind of doing what I can. And it's tough. And I can relate to a lot of folks that have taken time, obviously, to get it done. Because life gets in the way. You get done, you clock out, you get home, and the first thing you want to do is not keep working or go to like start doing your classes, or you want to just throw on your favorite show and kick your shoes off and relax. So I can certainly empathize with any of that.
For sure. So when did you do your classes?
So with my brokerage at Remax Preferred Associates, we have an incredible new agent program. Through all of that, I was going into those classes a lot. It's not like super hands-on per se, but you're getting in there, you're talking to other agents that are new-ish, and then we have some seasoned vets that are helping like teach the class. And they have title companies come in. They have different lenders, movers, all kinds of cool stuff for us to kind of just get into the habit of talking shop. You know what I mean? Like just talking real estate, because it's so new and so scary. There's so many industries that are not like this. That helped a ton. I'd say around Christmas time or so, like after, like when we were home with the baby, because I got, forgive me because I'm going to get it wrong. I am paternity leave, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I had paternity leave. So I would say around like that Christmas to like New Year's stretch when I was off of work, getting ready for him to come. So we probably had a few weeks of that. And that's really when I kind of sat down and just got after it. It was cool. It was fun. Now, on the flip side of it, about a year later, not even a year later, when I get licensed in Michigan, probably like the middle of that year, I got licensed in Michigan. I did that in a week.
Yeah.
So if you sit down and get after it, it's not going to take you as many months as it took me.
Yeah, that's great. And I don't think 5 months is bad, especially, you need to be disciplined in online classes and get through it. And you did it. Did you pass the first time?
I did. I passed the Ohio the first time. Yeah. Michigan, I did not.
It's not an indication of your success in real estate by any means. So that's great. How'd you decide where to take classes?
I think it was just like a familiarity thing. So full transparency, I did it with a competitor. Mm-hmm. I did it with the CE shop.
Okay.
They just have like, when they were doing the in-house thing, they do it at a local community college I was familiar with. So I just figured, made sense to me. It's just down the street from where I grew up at. Now, to be fair, I never went physically into the place, so it wouldn't have really mattered who I would have chosen.
Yeah.
But that was kind of it. I was just kind of shopping, there was only two names that really popped up that were, so.
Yeah. And so you went through the community college and the name you use. That's great. And here you are, you're in real estate now, right? So What were your expectations going into your first year?
I don't know that I really had any initially. So once I got licensed, I left the job at the factory. I got a job at Lowe's working super early in the morning from like 4 a.m. to like noon, because I'm assuming most people don't want to see houses or do listing appointments between like a Monday and a Thursday at those hours. They might, but and in my case, being as new as I was, I didn't feel like I was missing out on anything. So I did that for a spell, got licensed, and my expectations were really pretty low. I was just trying to learn as much as I could. Anyone from my brokerage listening to this will certainly understand what I'm trying to say, but our brokerage is a little bit more experienced than most other brokerages. So I was just trying to get as much runoff from those agents that have been doing it for 15, 20, 30 years in some cases. And I didn't really have any like real expectations, but there was like a switch that went off after a few months. In that class that we have, there was like a bulletin board of all the Remax offices nationwide and where ours kind of like landed, kind of on the pecking order. And I feel like we were like top 10 for units per agent at that point. and this is in the Toledo market, right? Like our population isn't nearly like anything like, on the East Coast or the West Coast or Texas or anything like that. So I was surrounded by a lot of the right people. And after a few months of kind of getting into those classes and going through the motions, I started looking at that number and I'm like, I don't know why I can't achieve that. If I'm average my first year, then I at least know that I'm helping that number and not hurting it. So after a little bit, like the light bulb kind of clicked and I quit my job and I just dove straight in.
That's awesome. So how long from the time you got licensed, say it's March-ish, to the time that you closed your first transaction? How long did that take?
I believe it was June. I think it was about 3 months.
Okay.
It took a little bit. When you first get into it, everything is so different. Like a lot of folks will sit on social media, but not too many people are like on it, like connecting with people, posting the right kind of stuff, getting into the groove of that. Because at that point, I was just like, ugh, social media, I don't want any of it. Getting in the habit of that, starting the right conversations with people, it kind of it takes some getting used to. My first deal was about 3 months, and in fact, at the time, it was our brokerage was doing Zillow leads. We don't do that anymore, so I can pretty happily say that all of my stuff at this moment is organic, and I love that. That first one was a Zillow lead, and the guy calls me up, my phone goes off, and me being as green as I am, I go turn to my wife. I'm like, "Do you have the baby?" And she's like, "Yeah, I got it." I'm like, "I gotta go show this house like right now."
Yeah.
And anyone that knows 2021's market was just on fire. It was crazy. Like if you didn't get up and go right at that moment, that guy might have bought the house tomorrow with somebody else.
Yeah.
So I was up and gone, and we went to go look at this little $90,000 condo, and he walks in. I have no idea how to talk to these people. I've never met them in my life. There was no buyer agency then. So it was really, I could just show up and do the job. It was very strange thinking back on it anyways. So we get to the house. I'm basically talking about the weather with his wife while he's combing through the place with a flashlight. He comes back to me and he goes, "Yeah, this place will suit our needs." And I'm like, "Okay, great. Do you have like a pre-approval or anything?" "Nope, we'll buy it cash." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I was like, "I'll get the documents put together for you and sent over, and we'll go from there." So as soon as I get in the car, I'm like freaking out. I'm calling my broker. I'm like, "Oh my God, my first offer."
Yay.
I think it took me 3 or 4 hours to get that thing put together, and it was a cash offer, so it should have been easier than it was. We got that put together. We closed in 10 days. My first check was $800 because it gets divvied up, especially when you're new. So, but once you get past that froth of that, I swear this is the best decision I've ever made. I got done with that, and I'm sitting there with my first check. I'm like, I didn't do anything. That was so easy. I cannot wait. And every deal since then has been a reminder of how wrong I was.
If only they were all like that, right?
I know it. But yeah, I got to that point, and then the expectations went through the roof, right? Like I'm like, that number at the top on the board is going to be nothing. Watch this.
Well, you got the motivation behind you, and now you've got a little money in your pocket, and now you're hungry and going after it. So did you ever find it being a challenge, being a new agent or trying to establish credibility, or do you think you were able to do so pretty quickly?
Yes, I do think it was kind of hard to do that initially. I think if you ask a lot of people that's the case, but you got to think about what you're going up against too. I had done nothing in the business, and I'm trying to market against people that are doing, 30, 40, 50, 60. Sometimes their teams are doing 100, 200 deals a year, right? And that's super intimidating when you're new. When you're going to go sit across the table from someone who just interviewed with somebody else. So I would say yes. However, something that I don't even know how I came up with it, and I think that every agent should do it, especially when they're new, is just don't be afraid to lean on your brokerage, and make sure that when you get into the business, like if you're even considering classes, and once you're like starting to walk through the door, don't wait till it's time to go schedule your test. Like start interviewing brokerages like out of the gate. One of the reasons that I landed on the place that I was at, they just gave me so much confidence, and like I could go door knock at people's offices and just let them know hey, I'm Kyle. I'm super new, but I'm super hungry. I want to learn as much as I can. And if you have anything going on, like I said, 2021 was insane. Like everybody and their mom was trying to buy a house. And I was like, if you have like just too much, I would love the opportunity to help you guys out. If you have open houses didn't really happen back then, to be fair. So, but anything, like I was like, just anything, I want it. And I didn't really necessarily want to join a team, but I wanted them to know that if there was anything extra that I could do that. So after several months of being around, some of the best in our local business and talking to them and seeing how they kind of conduct themselves, that's kind of where the confidence came from. Because initially it is a bit jarring. You see billboards everywhere. You see other people's faces in your mailbox, and you can't even afford to do that stuff. It is a bit scary, but I think that just make sure you land in the right spot and be a bit fearless, and it'll shake itself out. I promise.
Well, and like you said, you're new and you found your customers by showing them that you were going to help them out. You're going to work hard. You're going to, so you were still able to build that credibility with them because of, was it predominantly like, I'm going to show you, I'm going to be responsive. I'm going to, was it all about relationships?
Yes. Initially, especially back then, when my first few clients were all kind of coming from lead generation things, I wanted them to feel like they didn't push that button, and I wanted them to feel like they got lucky getting me when they pushed that button. That's great. So I would go above and beyond. We were looking at as many houses as they want. I mean, there's been some instances when we're standing in a house and I pull up Zillow or homes.com or what have you, and I'm like, let's see what's close to it. If there's a go and show here, because you'll get to a point where you're like, I hear what you're saying and I know exactly what you want, but it's not on our schedule. So I'll pull my phone up and be like, there's a house like 3 doors down that you didn't want to look at. I promise you, let's go look at it. And there's been, I'd say at least maybe a little less than a dozen times that I've closed deals that are just like that, from just going around houses and seeing houses, previewing houses and things like that. I would say that, kind of back to our previous point a little bit, what helped me a lot was, after kind of cutting my teeth on some of the leads that I was getting, being able to show like my sphere, which is basically my entire business now, is showing my sphere that this isn't a pipe dream. Like, I'm here to work. I'm here to get deals closed. I'm here to help your family. I'm here to help other people's families. Once I could kind of market myself in that light, instead of like, hey, here's the new fad, and like really show like the professionalism that I'm bringing to the table, I think that once that happened, and then it kind of just caught fire from there. And like I said, that my whole business at this point is organic. Like, in 2 days, I'm doing a golf outing at one of our local golf courses. I put it together in like 3 weeks, and we have 60 people coming.
That's awesome.
And there's only 4 of us from the business. Like, it's me, a lender, an inspector, and a builder. Everybody else is from my sphere.
That's great. That's such a fun event. So I have a couple of follow-up questions on what you just talked about. So you talked about social media. Mm-hmm. How did you use social media? What channels did you use? Like, talk to us about your social media and how you had to amp that up and what you did.
In regards to my business?
Yeah.
Yeah. So initially I didn't use it at all. Like, I didn't have any kids yet. I just kind of worked in a factory. I didn't want to like post memes or whatever, I just wasn't that guy. Actually, I was kind of doing podcasting before I got into this business. So I would post some of that stuff.
Okay.
Initially, I tried to gear some of my social media around that, which I thought was kind of neat. What I was doing is I made a podcast, and you can probably find, there's a few videos of it on YouTube even. Okay. They're called the Best in the Business Podcast. I haven't posted on there in probably a year. So this isn't a shameless plug, I promise.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
But what I was basically doing was going to local businesses and just giving the owners or, the senior manager, whoever's there the most, just the opportunity, kind of a soapbox to express themselves and just talk freely, like an open format, like some of the challenges they face in the day-to-day, what they love about our area, where their products are coming from, like charity events that they have going on, just whatever they wanted. That was a version I was doing I think that probably fizzled out, like I said, about a year ago.
Okay.
A lot of graphics and things like that. And then after a little bit, I'd say about when the market started cooling off a bit and it wasn't just, insane madhouse rat race, what I started doing a lot is videos. I am pretty good on video. I do video walkthroughs of open houses that I'm hosting. I do informational things. Like one big thing, I just saw a woman's post on Facebook where she was talking about how she's getting a similar situation that I was in, where she was getting kicked out of her place because her landlord didn't want to sell to her because he was worried the house wouldn't pass inspection. And that's such a bad stigmatism, or such a bad, it's just like a common thing that people think it needs to pass inspection. They don't realize that it's a resource for you, right? Yeah. So videos like that, teaching people that, like, inspection versus appraisal, what the differences of those things are, what an earnest money deposit is, because not everyone has that. We have that here. It's basically due diligence money for people that don't live in Toledo. Just all those kind of things. What a down payment is. What is cash to close? What is closing costs? Like, they're all three kind of the same things, but they're all pretty different too. Buyer agency, that's a huge one the last year or so. Talking to folks about that, being able to advocate for our own commissions and things like that is something that's pretty new and I've had success with. Really just trying to educate the everyday person so that then when they get to the point that they need to purchase a property, they're like, I don't know what's going on, and this guy keeps talking about it constantly. So instead of me remembering all that stuff, why don't we just hire him? And that's kind of what I've used social media for a lot lately, is those kind of things, just kind of marketing myself.
Yeah. And putting great information out there for your circle. So did you use Instagram? You're building videos on YouTube? Like, what was most effective for you?
I know it's different, and I've had a conversation with people about this just because I kind of get into the anthropology of it all, kind of, that everybody uses a different thing. Like every 3 or 4 or 5 years, like it's almost like trendy, right? So like Snapchat is like a foreign language to me. I have no idea how to market myself on there whatsoever. My bread and butter is Facebook.
Okay.
I do post on Instagram quite a bit. I've done TikTok, just because everybody seems to have transitioned from Facebook to TikTok and back and forth. As one thing that you'll kind of realize in this business too, for the listeners here, is always keep trying to improve yourself, because the market's always going to change and it's going to require you to change too. So the next leg of my social media journey is trying to figure out LinkedIn. I want to do that and just kind of market myself a little bit more professionally, instead of like the fun know-it-all kind of guy. So yeah, that's where that one is. Like, LinkedIn is still kind of a foreign language to me. I've done YouTube. I'm familiar with YouTube. I've done shorts and things like that on there. I would say that the most business conversations that I have are without a doubt on Facebook. But again, I'm 32. I graduated in 2011. That's where my people are at. Yeah. So you kind of just have to go where they are, I would say.
Yeah. And so do you on social media sort of mix your personal with your business, or are they separate? Is it all business? How does that work?
I've heard from several coaches that I should have a separation of church and state. And I don't. I hate it. Yeah. Now, let me explain why.
Okay.
The only reason I don't like it is because I feel like the algorithm doesn't like it. If I post one video on my business profile and then I share it onto my personal, it gets like next to no love. And I don't want it to feel like, I guess the image I'm going for on top of that is that I'm not, Monday through Friday, I'm a real estate agent, and the rest of the week I'm this. I'm always an agent. I'm always working. Like, I always tell folks, like, that's the beauty of this job, but also kind of the crux of it is you're always working, but not working. So when they think me, I want them to think not golfer, dad, and he also, I guess he does sell real estate. I want to think I am all of these things. Like, I am realtor, dad, golfer, sports guy, whatever. So it's all kind of, I keep it all in one house. I do it all in my personal. And I've posted enough on there where I have I don't even know if it means anything, but I'm considered a professional, like, content creator. So that's kind of cool too. So It gets peddled a little bit more. My videos get more exposure. So that's something that I can kind of take into listing agreements and things like that when I'm talking to folks. Like, that person might post videos, but mine literally get viewed more because I'm so consistent with what I'm putting out. So I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't get spread too thin if you do it all in one spot. So personally, I'm always doing the personal page.
I love it, Kyle. I think those are great tips. There was a whole bunch of great tips in there that's going to be really helpful for our listeners. The other thing I was going to ask you about, you've mentioned a couple of times getting leads, and a lot of our listeners are brand new. They don't know yet how to launch their real estate career. They're thinking about it. How were you getting leads early on?
I would say that, kind of like I spoke about a little bit earlier, at the time my brokerage was paying for some leads. Like, they were like kicking them to single newer agents to help get them off the floor. That was a lot of help early on. And then again, just to kind of put me above and beyond, I was trying to build relationships with other agents in my office. So if they have a listing, and our office is pretty adamant about not practicing dual agency just because of the liability that's involved.
Yeah.
So I'd go to them like, hey, if you have a new listing, if someone pops up or if there's an open house or anything like that, I would love to be that person that you contact to, take them through the process. Early on, that's where a lot of that stuff came from. It's kind of tricky because, like, I'm not paying for leads, but I'm paying for leads in a sense also. Like, there's micros and macros to it, in the sense, like, I have this big golf event that I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of paying for leads, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
I'm buttering everybody up, showing them a good time, showing them my face, like, hey, this is the cool stuff I'm doing. Please think of me, because whoever else you're thinking of definitely didn't do anything like this for you,
Yeah.
So in a sense, it's kind of still paying for leads, like, but on the macro side of it, we're just having fun. I'm getting out there. It's just a different vibe. That's an easier pill for me to swallow than handing one of these other companies X amount of dollars a month for a zip code to get someone that I don't know. But then on this side of things, I'm having fun. It's more of a warm lead, right? Like, they know somebody that knows me. I think that's a little bit better. That's just me. So early on, I would say that I certainly got the fuel to my fire came from my brokerage and their local footprint and what they were able to do, as well as the agents that are in that office, giving me the opportunity to kind of showcase myself. But since then, it's been me kind of generating my own buzz. Like, another example of a fun event I did is a couple of weeks ago. We did like a summer kickoff event in our front yard. I went door knocking with my son and invited everybody over. Totally not real estate related, just letting them know who I am, shaking hands, introducing myself. We had a giant bounce house in the front yard. We grilled out for everybody. All the kids came and they had a great time. And then a week later, I'm in their mailbox. They see me, a real estate ad. They're not thinking in them. It's just more exposure, right? So it's, again, that's not buying leads, but it kind of is, so it's just one of those things.
Yeah, you're not keeping it a secret who you are. And I think it's great. Really, really good tips in there. You mentioned open houses. Did you do many open houses?
I haven't. I don't love them. I also don't really put enough of myself into them. I'm always the kind of person that'll blame myself before anything else. Like, I know there's more that I could have done or could do at open houses. I've gotten some good business from them. Some really good clients that will probably be close to lifelong friends that I've met from open houses. Awesome. But then you get those ones where there's no one there and it just stinks. And you're like, man, I could be at home watching football or doing anything else. Like, because they're on Saturdays and Sundays, right? So it's like, oh, I'm going to miss the big noon kickoff for this one. Like, but no, honestly, and like I said, just trying to doing my own, like reflecting on like how I could be better, like talking about the LinkedIn thing. I think being a bit more about it instead of having it scheduled. So something I've been doing recently, because on weekends, especially early in my career, I would have like, Saturdays, Sundays, things would be going on. People are off of work. Yeah. So I'd be like, okay, let me get my things done so I can get home and, have it be a weekend. I can, catch a late tea time, be with the family, do whatever. But now I've kind of geared myself to where Saturday and Sunday I'm working. So I'm not running away from my job. So I think that that's really helped my mindset in that sense. And then also being a master of my calendar, like knowing that I have an open house this weekend and it's going to be in a pretty high demand neighborhood. So going door knocking, right, and talking to the neighbors and letting them know like, hey, we're going to have an open house this weekend. If you have any friends or family that are interested, that'd be great. But otherwise, I just want to poke my head in and apologize for any extra traffic that there might be. Like things like that go a million miles, right? And if I was more about stuff like that, like on a consistent basis, like I've been doing it recently and I've found success, but like throughout my career, like who knows where it would be.
Yeah.
I know a lot of agents have literally built their businesses from open house, but they've been more about what I was just talking about instead of just showing up like I've been doing, my first few years.
Yeah. Well, and everybody builds their business a little bit differently, and it sounds like your style is working. So keep at it. You've had some great success. Do you target any specific audience? Like, do you focus on buyers or sellers or a certain age group or a certain neighborhood, anything like that?
Not like actively.
Yeah.
Like looking at like kind of peeling back the onion and looking at like my stats. It's super buyer heavy. Like I always argue when I'm in the office that I am literally as good a buyer agent in our area, I think, as there is. And I don't want to sound like arrogant, but I'm confident. I've seen so much stuff. And like I said before, they're not all $90,000 cash deals, no competition, no inspection, we're done. Like we've been through the ringer with some of these. So I've learned, I feel like as much as anybody when it comes to some of the buying tactics and things like that, especially for single family, first time home buyers, things like that. I also think it's because of my demographic. Like I'm pretty self-aware as far as that goes. Like my sphere, right? We're all like late 20s, early 30s. They don't have a house to sell when they're buying their first house, right? So that's kind of how it's just gone. Now, some of their parents we've helped, and I don't shy away from any of that stuff. Like we can sell the house with the best of them. It's just the clients that we're getting are all warm leads like we've talked about. It's a lot easier to go down that rabbit hole, have tough conversations with them when you know them, instead of cold calling constantly. It's just not my vibe. I'm more of a fun guy. I don't know. Yeah. So I wouldn't say that I'm like, I target any one particular, group or neighborhood. It's kind of just worked out to where I am mostly like West Toledo, Southeast Michigan, folks that are in my age group and their families. So it's kind of kept me here. Like there's a pretty prominent, like township. I think it's a city now. I don't know. It's grown up a little bit, I think, but everybody wants to move to this township. And I've literally never sold a house there. So it's just kind of one of those things. Like, I don't.
Yeah, I've heard good things about your market. I think you've been in the news a couple of times over the last year or two. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so we've talked about a lot of the good stuff and how you got in your groove. What about some of the challenges? Like, I'm sure the first year you faced some challenges, maybe didn't know some things.
Yeah.
What were some of those things and how did you address them and overcome them?
The first that I can kind of think of is managing your money. Like,
that's a good one.
It's so much different when you can't just show up to work and there's going to be a check at the end of the week, right?
Yeah.
If there's ramen noodles for dinner one night and then, a big old ribeye the next night, or we'll say in a month, because usually things go in 30 days in our business, ribeye in a month, like it's your fault that both of those things happened. The argument would be like, oh, well, this deal happened, or, unforeseen circumstances here, or this with that. Like, the argument would be that you should have more going on so those things don't affect you as badly, right? So managing money, I think, was super important. Learning that everybody talks about the highs and lows of a business, right? And being able to flatten that as much as possible. Like that's a really tough trick. Being able to, when you get that first real big check, not the $800 one, but like the $12,000 one, and not going out and just spending it all. Like I was having a conversation with my broker the other day. about how people make money, but they're not like making money. They get it and they spend it. Like at the end of the year, you may have made that much, but how much did you actually make? Like when you look at your bank account, like did I make 50 grand or did I spend 50 grand? So kind of changing your mindset with how you manage your money is a big one. Getting out of your yeah, no pun intended. Getting out of your comfort zone is a huge one. Not being afraid to grow. I think a lot of people, when they get in this business, they're excited about what they can offer the industry as opposed to what the industry can offer them. And putting it that way, what I'm trying to say is like, don't be afraid to grow. Like you're going to be a different person by like your first year. Like the person I was from getting licensed to my first year is totally different. And the person I am right now versus the person my first year is totally different. Like I'm doing things now where I look back and I'm like, dude, I feel bad for my clients because I'm not doing the things then that I am now. Like it's just exciting to keep changing. Like I feel like everybody should want to grow and not be so like arrogant. Like I don't want to change. I don't want to learn these things. Like this business has so much to offer. So don't be afraid to be wrong. Like I was saying a little bit earlier, and like learn, like it's going to only benefit yourself and your clients moving forward. Like the more you learn, the more you earn, right? Like that's the whole like adage, right? So, I think that that's another big one. Some people will say fake it till you make it. One of the things that I used to say, and fake it till you make it to a degree, but also like make sure you're doing it right, not lying. So like I was saying before, we have still this really awesome new agent class. And one of the senior agents would come in there and she just kind of used it as her floor to vent for like 20 minutes every week. So we would always kind of tease about it. However, when I would go to a meeting later that week, I'd be like, oh my gosh, we just talked about this. I know exactly how to handle it. There'll be no problem. We just dealt with it. We, right? Like me plus the conversations I'm having with people in my office. So then we'd get out of that meeting. I'd be like freaking out, like, oh my God, I got to call her right now and see how she handled it. So, yeah, I would say just be confident, but also don't be afraid to learn. Nobody knows what an escrow holdback is or how to fix a septic tank until you kind of run into that. You know what I mean? So
until you have to, right?
You have to. Like, don't be afraid to learn on the fly. As much as again, just learn as much as you can. Like, you can't stop, and that's just going to help you get to whatever your version of success looks like.
That's great. And so that being said, who'd you lean on? Like, did you have a support system, a mentor, maybe your brokerage? Who'd you lean on, and probably still do to a certain extent, to help you when you were doing something and had kind of felt lost?
So after a few months, I actually did get a mentor, and he's actually 6 years younger than me. He had been in the business up to that point, like 4 years. Similar walk of life. He just kind of had similar jargon, so our brokers thought that we wouldn't have any trouble communicating. I share an office with him now. So like we're thick as thieves. Like we're tight. Like even now, like he'll call me if he gets jammed up with something. I call him if I get jammed up with something, because we both can't be everywhere at once, and everyone has different experiences. There's just so many variables in our business. I know that I initially said that I didn't want to be a part of a team, earlier in this podcast even. Yeah. I ended up being on a team because I didn't manage my money well, and the team that I joined needed an administrator. So my thought was, let me join this. I'll get like the promise of some money at the end of the week, which is nice, but I can still keep working. I'm still working within the industry. And being able to kind of peer behind the curtain of something like that, because she was doing between 100 and 150 deals a year, and just being able to see how that engine ran was just so eye-opening, and it forced me to kind of grow up and implement a lot of those practices into my business really quickly. And she's fantastic. Like I love that woman. She's great. We were just going in opposite directions. She was like, you're too big for us. go away, go, like, go figure it out. And it was kind of fun. We were both crying and stuff. And I was like, I don't want to. She's like, you need to go spread your wings and figure it all out. So I moved out, but not too far. I got the office across the hall from her.
That's great.
She was fabulous. My mentor, Justin, has been invaluable to my career. And my brokers, like Kathy, John, and Angela, like those three have been absolute rock stars. Like I honestly, like, Justin's been invaluable. I don't know where I would be at if I was with another brokerage. I know I've kind of been singing their songs the whole time, but I'm being honest with you. Like, having the team that I have around me has been, I can't even imagine what this business would be like if I was anywhere else. Like, it's just hard to think about. Like, they've been that good. Like, they're so quick to, like, let us be family, answer the phone whenever they have things going on. My broker, John, not to spill the beans too much, but he's having a grandkid, and I messaged him about a meeting that we had, and he messaged me right back. Like, I was like, hey, I know you got this going on, but when you see this, can you let me know? It's not super important. 90 seconds later, I have a follow-up question or a follow-up answer from him. Like, we are family to him and to them, and it's been a dream. So I think that those folks they're it. Like, make sure that when you guys are shopping for a brokerage again, like, make sure that you find your tribe, because it makes business so much easier rolling out of bed and knowing that you're going to an office that supports you.
Yeah, so such true words, finding the right fit for you, because inevitably you're going to have to call and get support on something. It's got to be someone who you feel comfortable and confident with. So I think that's really, really great advice. So, Kyle, any memorable, funny experiences, client interactions that stand out to you from your first year?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Here's a good one.
Okay.
So from knocking on, like, busier agents' doors, I knocked on a woman's door who is an absolute killer. She is so good. Knocked on her door one day, and I was like, hey, I'm Kyle. Nice to meet you. The whole spiel. We've done it a couple times already. So I was like, if you have any runoff, let me know. Her assistant reaches out. Yeah, we have this person that called us. They have a pre-approval from an online lender. You guys will learn that that's not usually super favorable. They're still good, but they're just not, they're not the best. So I was like, okay. So they were pre-approved for $150,000, right? And this will make my point for me. Pre-approved for $150,000 from, whatever online lender you want to insert. Maybe you'll figure it out. We're in Ohio. So, we're looking at houses and things like that. And they're telling me what their wants are and what their needs are. And they're just not finding it. They call up another lender. They end up getting approved for $450,000. So, like, night and day. We're looking at totally different properties now. So do your due diligence with your lenders. Anyways, they send me this house that is not, like, out in the sticks, but it's, like, close. And I'm like, okay, they want some elbow room. They have a lot of kids and things like that. They own a daycare. They have a lot of stuff. So we go to this house, and it was, like, super old. Like, it was built in, like, 19 something, like maybe 1910s. Like, it was at least 100 years old, easily. Still on an old boiler system. It had a super old elevator in it. Everything creaked while you were going through the house. You could hear the wind going through it. Like, it was just super eerie. It was just super eerie. So we were going through it. We're turning on all the lights, and there's, like, a loft that's above the garage. And this garage is massive. It's like a 6-car garage in this old place. So we get up there, and there's just a bunch of, like, porcelain, like, Mother Teresa dolls. And I'm like, why are these up here? There's no other furniture in the house. And they're like, man, I think I've seen this in a movie. It's super scary. We're going to just leave. And I'm like, we've turned on every light in this 9,000 almost square foot place, including the basement. I'm like, no problem. I'll go turn it off. So I don't know. It was just, I've also seen that movie, I feel like. So I'm going through it and hearing, like, the boilers creak and every floorboard that I'm walking. It felt like something out of Scooby-Doo, like, as I was turning all the lights off. Like, I couldn't have locked that place up fast enough. Like, they got out of it, and the husband comes and meets me outside. He's like, I might want to write an offer. And I'm like, dude, you are nuts. I was like, let's go. We have another house to get to. Like, yeah, that was in our first year. That was fun. That family was great.
They found a home, I assume, a different one.
Yeah. And on top of it, they actually, another kind of funny story, we painted an entire barn for them to get FHA approval. Like we did so much stuff for them to get through it. So don't be afraid to get your hands dirty to get deals done. Especially FHA deals. Like it's not that hard of work. It's just, a little paint, GFI here and there, handrail. Nah.
Yeah. Do you carry around a toolkit of things for fixing up houses?
I do. Yeah. I got one for Father's Day from my wife because she heard me gripe and groan enough.
I've heard a lot of people do that. So that's great. That's great. So, Kyle, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Ooh, that's a good question. I was actually, because my broker was out of town, I was moderating a meeting that we were doing, and I actually challenged the whole group to consider what their goals are for the end of 2026. So kind of in the same vein, in 5 years, oh God, I don't know. I've thought way down the line. My by the time I'm 50, I'd like to own a golf course. That'd be sick.
Love that.
Yeah, and then if the market just, I don't know, if something happens with this, I can still go to work every day, That's right. In 5 years, I'd like to be a top producer in our area. I'd like to be one of the top 1%ers, I think. At the moment, I'm doing, by the end of this year, I should be like mid-30s, I think, as far as units sold.
That's great.
So I want, and again, all of that's organic. So I just want to sprawl out a little more, meet more people, do cool things. And I think that, being a 1%er isn't too out of the realm of possibilities for us. So I think that, and this is all the same stuff that you guys can implement, the listeners, while you're going through things. It's systems. I think your systems are huge. Being like I said before, a master of your calendar. It sounds tedious, but it frees you up so much more to do cool stuff. It lets you be with your family more, have time to cook and clean and golf and, go travel, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. When you're flying by the seat of your pants, it's a little harder to do that. So, I think that being a top producer in 5 years is something that I would really like to do. I don't know if I'm a team guy. I don't know if I want a team. So we'll see. I don't know. Team, maybe. Top producer, definitely.
That's it. They're good aspirations. I have no doubt you're actually going to get there, Kyle. You're well on your way. And I love your comments about just the time management, the schedule. Like, how do you recommend people sort of balance work, life? How do you do that?
Again, being like a master of your calendar, I would say. Yeah. Like, even on like a day-to-day basis, like when I'm like clocked in, we'll say, like a Monday after a busy weekend, we have a handful of offers floating around and we have a few other places under contract, right? Being able to kind of prioritize on the fly is very important, right? Like, we're under contract. This lady doesn't know what's going on because her lender hasn't reached out in a while. Is that more important, or is me getting this offer and by this deadline more important? Like, can I kind of let her know, like, hey, we'll talk later. Like this evening, I can reach out to you and give you an idea of what is exactly going on, because right now at 9 a.m. I have an 11 o'clock deadline and we still don't know if we're going to waive inspection items or not. Like, like those kind of, like, being able to prioritize that stuff. And then I think initially it was very hard to balance work and family. But as you kind of get more comfortable and you get the dance down, it's a lot easier. They kind of blend. My 4-year-old will walk in. Like, if you invited us to your house right now, he would grab you by your hand in the front door and walk you through your whole house and show you everything. Make, look at your beautiful kitchen. Like, thanks. I know, but he's just, so they kind of get married, The balancing act is tricky. But reminding yourself why you got into it also is another important thing. A lot of people like to look at where they're going and not kind of where they came from. I try and remember, like, this is why I got into this, so I could be more hands-on and be present. If I wanted to just work and be the paycheck dad, then I would have stayed where I was at. Right. So, like right after we get off of this call, I'm getting ready to go to karate practice. Like it's just, and then after that, I have a few showings. So it's just making sure that you have time for yourself and them. That's again, it's tricky, but it's, family first for me. And I tell people that up front, like, when I have that initial phone call, whether we're listing or we're buying, like, hey, I will be in touch with you every step of the way. I have a really good system as far as communication goes. I get emails, follow up, all of that stuff. However, if I don't answer your call, it's not because I didn't see it or I don't want to talk to you. It's because I really like my kids and I really want to hang out with them. And chances are at that exact moment, I'm being a human jungle gym. So bear with me. I will get back to you, but probably not at 9 o'clock at night. It'll probably be at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Well, it sounds good. You've learned to balance it. And I think it's a great reminder and a great tip. So, Kyle, we're going to jump into our lightning round. I'm going to ask you a question, just quick thoughts, 60 seconds or less, a couple of fun things. So tell us about either a book or a podcast that you've read or listened to that you'd recommend for our listeners and why.
Atomic Habits. I love it. It's so good. I try and read it twice a year, like every 6 months. We have a class that we do through our brokerage called Reboot, and I kind of coincide that with Reboot. Because any new thing I pick up, I want to just remind myself of the practice that book had kind of helped teach me of just doing little things, right? Like it's hard to explain, and it's an easy read too. Like I really enjoyed it. They have audiobooks for it, but just little stuff like, before you cook, do the dishes, just kind of keep challenging yourself to do different things instead of waiting to do the dishes when it's just mountain of stuff at the end of the night, little things like that, just staying busy. And doing things like that, again, will free up your time, right? We just talked about if I wait till the end of the night to do my dishes and the stack is this high, instead of just proactively doing them while I'm preparing dinner, then at the end of the night, I can sit with my feet up and just hang out, right? So it's like that's the time management that we're kind of talking about. And Atomic Habits is fantastic. Podcasts, I don't listen to a ton of podcasts because I have a weird thing about me where I have to be on my phone when I'm in the car. Like I'm always calling people when I'm driving. Like I don't mind driving alone, but I have to be talking to somebody. So I would say content wise, otherwise though, I listen to Tom Ferry a lot. I get a lot out of their stuff. Yeah. They kind of speak my language as far as like the personal aspect, but implementing some of the rigidity that you need to be a successful business. Mm-hmm. Ricky Carruth is another good one that I listen to. Brian Buffini is also great. Like the list goes on, but for me, it's Atomic Habits and Tom Ferry.
Those are awesome responses. If we had a time machine and you could go back to the day you started this journey, what advice would you give yourself?
Don't buy a truck.
It's good advice.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting like 17 miles of the gallon. That is a good question. Yeah. I would say spend more time in the office. It's something that I've only really in the last year or so started doing. Early on I would be like, ooh, I work from home. Yeah, that's so cool. Like I can just work in my PJs or whatever. And you just get into such like a more hustle mindset when you're up and at 'em and out the door and you have your coffee or your soda, whatever your drink of choice is in the morning, or your tea, and you're just going, you're gone. You feel the rest of the hustle and bustle of the morning traffic. You get to the office and it helps you get moving instead of rolling out of bed like, oh, I don't know if I'll shower today. Like, So I would say just be in the office more. I was like at the very, very start, but I'd say like between year 1 and 2, I wasn't as much. And that's the advice that I would give. I would say that.
Yeah, that's a good one too. So, and I can relate to a lot of that. So if you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Oh God. Dead or alive. Okay, I'll do 2. I'll do two if I can.
Sure, let's do it.
Some of you may have noticed I'm a really big family man. It'd be my grandparents. I lost them both in back-to-back years. And my other grandfather when I was 21, and I didn't feel like I got the chance to know him as more than just like my grandfather instead of like a person. Yeah. So I would love that. I'd like to eat dinner with them and just however many courses we can get so it lasts forever. That's what I would go for. However, on a more like fun note, I would say, oh God, let me think. We can just assume that we all like speak the same language. So like, someone crazy like Alexander the Great or something like that, would be fun. Yeah. Alive. I think Stephen Curry would be fun. He's very successful and he's very family oriented. And of the like professional, him or Patrick Mahomes, they give me a similar vibe in the sense that like they're very family oriented. And I feel like that if they were having a conversation with you, they wouldn't like talk down to you. They would just talk to you. Yeah. Just to kind of see like what it's taken for them, like obviously they're gifted and things like that, but they had to work to get where they're at too, and just kind of pick their brain a little bit more about stuff, just silly things too. Like, what do you like on your pizza? Like, yeah. Yeah, I think that those are probably my answers though.
Those are good ones. You're going to be eating a lot of dinners, it sounds like. Kyle, what did you do at work yesterday?
One more time, I'm sorry.
That's okay. What did you do at work yesterday? Tell us about your day.
Oh, goodness. So something that I do, and it's kind of helped me just stay busy. Like, even on days that are slow, I feel busy because every day I pick the next letter of the alphabet and I text every single person in that letter. Just, hey, how you doing? It's Kyle. If they've bought a house with me or sold a house with me. Hey, how's everything going with your new house? Or how is everything, otherwise? If it's someone I see like more than once, like if I see them like frequently, I'll joke with them and be like, hey, I'm messaging my whole database. Nobody's off limits. Just making fun out of it. Do you guys need anything? Is everybody doing okay? Things like that. I try and start my day with that. I like to look at the hot sheets, any new listings that are coming up, coming soons and things like that. Houses that have expired, maybe why they've expired. I kind of look at them if it's in a neighborhood that I know is busy. Little things like that, I think, just help you be the expert in your market. Like if you can look at a house and be like, that house should have sold for whatever this number is, except they had it listed at this number and the pictures were terrible. That's just more information. So when you go to list a house in that neighborhood, you can be like, this is why this house didn't sell, and this is why I will sell yours. What else did we get into? That's the morning routine. Tuesdays are supposed to be my day off, actually. So you should have asked me about Monday. But we have a bit of a problem child right now, one of the deals that I'm working with. So we were kind of firefighting some of that stuff. Yeah. Making sure that everybody's happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was, kind of just making sure everybody's happy, making a lot of phone calls. I had a few other folks message me about some of their oh my goodness, their kids. His daughter is interested in purchasing a home, and his son is thinking about moving back from college. So, just having a few of those conversations. I have that big event this weekend, so I went shopping, got all the stuff. I got 56 little mini bags. I got a bunch of golf balls. We got little shooters to slide in there. We got what I jokingly call swag, which is like the branded stuff that we have. So I got some Remax swag. I've got some of the swag for my inspector, my loan officer, and things like that, making sure everything's buttoned up. It's just communication is the big thing. Like you're always kind of just trying to stay in touch with folks. No showings yesterday. I rescheduled some photos, and Wednesday turned into my day off. So
okay. So those are the realities, right? Like these are the things you do a little bit of a lot of different things.
On the day that's supposed to be my day off, even like you're always working but not working. It's the beauty and the beast of this industry.
Yeah, so true. So, Kyle, where can listeners and viewers find you, connect with you, follow your journey?
Yeah, I'm a pretty open book. You guys may have noticed that through this conversation, but if any of you want to just call me or text me, just let me know where you found me.
Yeah.
I would love to help you guys out or bestow any more guidance that I can. My phone number is 419-276-5594. The same spiel I gave a little earlier. If I don't answer your call, it's because I'm likely being a human jungle gym. So leave a voicemail, please. I will get back to you. Otherwise, you could email me. My email is yourhomewithkbr@gmail.com. Facebook, it's just my name. I'm sure you'll find me. You can Google Kyle Russell with Remax Preferred Associates if you want to check out some of the reviews and things like that I have, and just kind of see some of the photos and some of the testimonials, some of the cool things that we have going on. TikTok's the same way. It should pop up with the rest of it. It's all tied together. But otherwise, if you want to go laugh at some old podcasts, I'm on YouTube. Just search The Best in the Business podcast. I'll pop right up. But otherwise, I think that's it. Don't come to my house so you don't get the address. Yeah.
That's excellent. Excellent. You're easy to find, which is wonderful for someone in real estate, right? Any final thoughts as we close up here? Any final tips and tricks for the listeners?
Be brave. That's the big one, I think. Don't be afraid to it's a kind of an old-timey term, but don't be afraid to get some egg on your face.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I think that's the biggest one. Be brave and be unflappable. There's another one for you. There's your $2 word for the day.
I love it.
You know,
I love
when
it.
things get crazy, be the thing that is not crazy. You know, learn enough to not lose your mind because you always know what's going on. Communicate, learn, and just be brave. Yeah.
That's great. Kyle, thank you so much for spending the time with us today, for sharing your journey, your tips and tricks. I think your story will inspire others and help them launch their career, and really appreciate you sharing how you've done it. And congratulations on both your first year success and your continued success.
Thank you so much. This has been a real treat. And again, if anyone listening needs anything, I would be happy to help you guys out. So feel free to reach out, and I appreciate the opportunity to come on here and talk about myself. I'm obviously pretty good at it. So
you were great. Thank you. Kyle.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission. We hope today's stories and insights gave you that extra spark to keep moving forward in your real estate career. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps us reach more listeners like you. And don't forget you can watch this or other episodes on our YouTube channel. We'd also love to hear from you. Send your comments, key takeaways, or recommendations for future guests to unlockingrealestate@colibrirealestate.com.